fatal thought impacts, past painful thoughts. In fact, I blast tasteful thoughts and past. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, quite a bit of things are going on. In the last part, Deku, he made a bit of a bargain, and this was where things got complicated. Deku, he gave the option and or possible idea of making a Xenomorph more dangerous. And an elder yautja, the one who does basically call the shots, they got this information from another yautja who, they were talking about a human standing at their front door. And all the yautja knows is that humans, yeah, their species, they're something. And then one of them comes to their front door talking about making their enemy, the Xenomorph, a lot deadlier and a lot crazier to fight. That was something this yautja did like. So he had an audience with Deku along with fellow members of his clan, and Deku, yeah, he basically had to make a bit of a deal where he'd be given the information in exchange for supplying the yautja with more dangerous creatures. And these ancient predators, they wanted to see this first, since they're not just gonna hand over this information and get screwed over. Now, Deku, he's currently recovering. And while he's currently recovering, Aki, she ran the specimen back over to the temple and did come back. On the way, though, she was still thinking about everything. If Scar was going to be okay or not. This did worry her. She saw that the medical tube, it was able to do its job. They were able to cut the Xenomorph out of him. It was, well, not pretty. And seeing him like that, the way he was just freaking out and losing his cool, Aki, she knows that that process isn't exactly nice or pleasant. However, the fact that Deku lost his damn cool like that, it does freak her out too. Now, Deku, whenever Aki does arrive back, he actually is still asleep in his room. Aki moved him back there after she got him out, and he's been resting since. As whenever Aki, she actually is walking through the ship and she has to go knock on Scar's door, you do actually know where some people are passing by. Some people, they do want to talk to Scar, since they're wondering what the hell is going on. And whenever Aki does see these people, she actually just turns to them and informs them. They're currently going through some negotiations, and more than likely, things are still going to be more complicated. Right now, they're talking to the leaders of Yautja Prime, and this information isn't exactly something that they can just demand. They need to keep that in mind. Scar had to make a bit of a sacrifice to see if he can gain a bit more ground with negotiations. And whenever people are confused by that, you do have where Deku, he does go to open the door, and Aki, she is actually able to look directly at Deku. As whenever everybody, they do stare at Deku, the thing that catches their attention the most is the fact that he has a large scar running right down directly under his pectoral muscles. It's right there in the middle of his chest. And that's something that they don't like, since that's a new one. And from what they can tell, it is healed. It's just been burned over, well, singed over. And that's something that Aki, she does go to step forwards and push Deku backwards into the room. Her pushing onto his shoulder, since she almost did go to grab directly onto the center mass of his chest. And that would have been very painful for Deku. Now, whenever Deku, he's pushed backwards into the room, Akita's going to ask him if he's alright. As the two people outside, they do just stand there. And they do plan to wait for Scar. Now, Deku, he himself is still in pain. And he does go to ask Aki exactly how much time has passed. And Aki, she does express to him about, let's just say 11 to somewhere between 7 to 11 hours have passed. And Deku, he's actually caught off guard by that. He knows that the implantation process, it isn't that long. So, what happened then? I monitored you. I made sure that this thing progressed far enough before it got to the right size. Then I got it out of you. It scared me. Okay, I'll be fine. It just, it's gonna take me a while to heal, but I'll be okay. Scar, how can you do reckless shit like this? Huh? Scar, you're crazy. You're just, I don't know how you gamble like this. Aki, listen, I knew it wouldn't kill me. So you did that? Why? Because I had to. Listen, I don't expect you to understand, but this is important. I need to find the engineers. We need to. I need to know why. Why they did it? Why they killed your species? I understand that that's important, but what if I caught that thing too late? What if it burst? What if it killed you? It wouldn't have. You were there to help me. You were there to monitor me. I trust you. I I know, but I just I can't stop thinking about it. I don't know why. Now, before Deku and Aki can continue, there is a knock on Deku's door. And Aki, she does suspect that it's those two people outside. However, whenever Deku does go to walk over and open the door, it's David. David quickly going to walk inside and go to grab onto Deku's shoulder, expressing that they need to talk urgently. And before Deku can even really say something to David, David shuts the door, turns, locks it with a button, and then does go to look directly at these two, as he has expressed to them that he wants to do more research on the black goo, and he does want to continue the research he does have currently on the Xenomorph egg that's still kicking around on the ship. And this is something that Deku, he does stare at David surprised. And Aki does even ask how he knows about that. It wasn't that hard to piece together. The container, it's large. Along with that, why else would you lock yourself in the medbay? Besides, I am also able to connect directly to the monitors in this ship, especially from, well, the communication center. Does that make sense? Now, Deku, he does go to look directly towards the key. As David, he does inform him. It also is kind of interesting. Never in the existence of the universe does he believe that there's ever been a relationship like theirs. And Deku, he does just stare at David, asking him what does he want. I already have what I want. What? Information. I want to study the eggs. I want to study the goo. I want to study the aliens. I need to. I need to understand these creations. What? Yes. It's just, they don't make sense. I need to know why. If the engineers created your species, and you created my species, what created this species? It can't have been some natural evolution. I don't want to believe that. It couldn't have just been that. The data on the Xenomorph concludes otherwise. I want to know more. David, he does just stare at Deku. And Deku, he does compose himself. That caught him off guard. Okay, so the robot now knows that they're a thing. Shit. Okay, David. Listen, let's make a bit of a deal. We already needed to go by a planet and kill some xenomorphs. In fact, I was told by a yautja, high-ranking member, that we have to kill more queens. So, how's that? We already did need more information on the queens. Along with that, even the material I've had commissioned, I've heard that they've gotten better usage out of it. I know I'm trying to get things acid-proof. The queen's acid and even the alien's acid. Their skin might be our solution to that. Along with that, well, there's certain yautja metals we still do have left over. If we combine those with earthling-based metals, and even maybe one from our mines, maybe we'll have something there. Well, that is certainly an interesting idea. This unknown metal, what exactly do you make of it? Well, right now it's hypothetical. So, I don't know. Besides, all I know is it might be strong. But hey, that is all in theory. Now, David, please leave us alone. We'll get you your goo. We'll get you your aliens. Alright? Just know what you're doing with that stuff and do not fuck it up. Alright? I understand. Goodbye. David turning around, unlocking the door, and walking out. As well, David, he is walking down the corridor. He does get to do one simple thing. He hasn't done it in a while. However, he does try to run a self-diagnostic. And whenever he does go to run this diagnostic, he actually does encounter a bit of an error. And that's something that David, whenever he does see the error, he does just go to run it again. And he does get the exact same error. Now, this is strange to him. He doesn't know what that is. It's been popping up recently. He notices that he's been rebooted differently, but he doesn't understand why or possibly even when. So, it does appear that there's something else shifting inside of his programming. Now, with that being said, we do cut back over to Deku and Aki. Where Deku, yeah, he does decide to just hop in the shower, change, and lay down to rest. Since, right now, he just needs some sleep. And Aki, she does kind of agree with Deku on that. Since she does go to leave. Now, Aki, she would sneak back there later. Since everybody, they were kind of crowded around. And whenever Deku did at least go to give a statement about what he did to everybody, or what he did for everybody, they're all kind of in shock. Especially since Deku talked about the possible idea that they might be able or might need to donate blood samples. And that was something everybody, they weren't exactly too, well, intrigued by. Since, oh hey, unknown alien planet that we've never been to. We need some of your blood. Yeah, sketchy. Now, that's something that Deku, he doesn't know how he'll explain it other than just coming clean. And that's what he just does. As whenever he is sitting down with everybody the next morning, you do have where Jackal, let's just call him Jackal, the funny guy, from Deku's squad, he does ask his boss exactly how did things go. Oh, scared the shit out of me and I almost crapped my pants. I meant with the alien. Yeah. Oh, that doesn't sound too good. It's really not. You see, the thing is, it's motion activated. Oh god, that scared me. Yeah, so why did you even do it though? to make the thing more dangerous. Why? To make the yautja interested in what we had to provide. As far as I'm concerned, corks are part of our natural resource. And the fact is, if we can make their prey dangerous and more enticing to them, they'll pay money for that. Hell, I've already at least got one clan who's interested in knowing more about our blood. And that, well, I'm not too sure about just yet. However, if we're able to get the elders interested in our blood, that means that we'll actually be able to get a bit more money for it. So, that's at least what I'm thinking. If it's not possible, then I don't know what to do. It's either that or pack up the cavalry and head back home. Start a nice long space exploration for the next 100 or so years to find the engineers. See how that goes. You can't be serious. I'm deathly, sadly. We have some leads, but even then, all we can tell is that they might be empty leads. The planets are all we got. And from what I understand, this information, it's limited. There's nothing else to back it up. Hell, these guys are practically ghosts out here. Not even the yautja can find them, and they're nearly everywhere. Besides, it's not even just us. Yeah, that is weird. So, another question. You and that one yautja chick spent a lot of time together, right? What do you mean? Well, I mean, you guys always train and fight and hunt. Okay, yeah. And the other day she was carrying you back to your bunk. So what exactly? She did that after I had surgery. Yeah, but wasn't that a bit unnecessary? Hmm, I don't know. So, what do you think about her though? What do I think? Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. I mean, I'm not trying to sound weird, man, but she's still a chick, right? I mean, yeah. So what do you think about her? I mean, you guys have known each other since what? You told me she tried to murder you the first time you met her, and you met her like a day after you were abducted? Yeah. So you've known her for 3 years, and you really can't say you don't have an opinion on her? I mean, I got one. And what would that be? Hmm, she's good. That's it, man? Really? A lot of people crowding around. As Deku, whenever he does notice he does have a small little audience, he does go to repeat. She's good at training, and she's actually a very good sparring partner. And you do actually have, or at least some people, they do go to ask more questions. And Deku, he does kind of realize something strange. A lot of people, they're asking questions about Deku and the key. But more than that, they're asking questions about, well, him too. But why? And Deku, for a minute, he does think that David, he may have broken the deal. However, you do actually have where Jackal, he does go to say something to Deku. As Deku, he does get caught off guard by it. Jackal talking about how a lot of him and the guys were talking about how things are kind of weird, especially with being up in space for very long. And the fact that combat training and everything else is like that is driving them all kind of stir crazy. So, they've all but just been talking and ranting about dumb shit. Eventually, they found out they ran out of topics to talk about. So, people started asking and talking about the yautja. And that's where Deku, he does tell the guy to stop talking. What? I mean, it's just something to talk about. Listen, I would recommend you do not talk about the yautja like that. I mean, why? Because you just don't. Listen, the yautja, they don't gossip like that. Besides, what you just said is disrespectful. And if you say it again, well, let's just say as the boss, I might have to make a bit of an example. Uh, yeah. Okay, man, I'm just messing with you. You know that, right? Now, everybody, they do go to back off. As Deku, he does turn back to Jackal. You know that's not fucking funny, man. Come on, dude. Besides, you can't be serious. You at least gotta have an opinion on her about something, dude. Come on, what about that one night with poker? What about it? Dude, come on. I know she and you talk a lot. Just nothing? Really? I mean, I could have swore you two would have bumped uglies by now. Deku actually going to somewhat choke on what he's drinking, as he's going to bring his hand up and smash it directly into his chest. The moment he does, not only does Deku somewhat go to kill over in pain for a second, he does go to empty his mouth of all the fluid. And the moment he does go to lay there for a second. Before Jackal, he does go to lean over and ask Deku if he's okay. Deku going to grab Jackal by his shirt collar, and they're going to smash him into the table. As Jackal, whenever he is laying down the same way as Deku, he does start to whisper, telling Jackal that if he heard anything that one night, then he needs to know. Talk about it, and shit will not be easy for him. And if he is wondering, yes. Now, Jackal, whenever Deku does go to let go of his collar, he does jump up somewhat kind of confused and dazed. And Deku, whenever he does go to stand up, he does go to walk off. Jackal turning and going to say a bit too loud, asking if he really did that. And Deku, he does go to stop and go to turn. Him giving somewhat of a joking grin, as Jackal, he doesn't know if that's a serious grin, or if that's, well, guess for yourself type grin. Now, Deku, he does go to walk away. And whenever he does, we actually do have over with David. David is still trying to conduct some of his experiments. And he is doing the research with what he can about the black goo, the xenomorph eggs, and their DNA. As, while that's currently going on, we actually do cut over to the xenomorph specimen that was taken from Deku. As we do currently have the yautja who are examining this creature. Since, if they're correct, this one can learn very fast. So, they want to know exactly what it can learn. And we do actually have where, while the regular xenomorph is put in an arena, you do have where another gate does go to open. And whenever the gate does open, you do have where another xenomorph does come walking out. As, whenever this thing does go to bring its claw-like limb out and go to grab onto the side of it, the yautja elders, they do watch as a red set of claws and a red hand does go to climb out of this cage. And whenever the xenomorph does go to step out, it is looking around. As when it does notice the black xenomorph, it does go to start hissing and get a bit angry at it. And we do actually have the red xenomorph, which it itself is very aggressive. And the xenomorph that came from Deku, it does start to repeat and mimic this xenomorph. However, the yautja, they also do notice something. They can't tell if the xenomorph is slow or not, but it seems that it's making a tactic. It stops for a second and goes to think, before it does continue with another movement. It's making sure it can keep distance. It's also making sure it can observe its enemy. Along with that, the elder can notice by the way the by the way the xenomorph is swaying its head, it's keeping its eye on that damn tail. And this is something he doesn't understand. Already these things, They're not something he recognizes from a traditional xenomorph. And he actually might have an interest in exactly what that human was selling. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.